Welcome to the show. This is the top 20 moments of the Deets with Duddy of 2025, as voted for by you, the fans. Over the past year, I've had conversations with athletes, artists, creators, leaders, and community builders across Calgary and beyond. Some of these moments were funny, some were heavy, and a few of them genuinely changed the direction of this show. If you're new here, this is a great place to start. If you've been here all year, thank you for being part of it. Before we get into the top 20, I want to acknowledge a few honorable mentions. First up, it's Ward 9 Councillor Harrison Clark. This moment stood out to me because it was my first episode stepping into Calgary politics. Harrison and I eventually became friends, and in this conversation he mentioned he could see me having the mayor on the show one day. A few weeks later, that idea turned into the mayoral election special with all the candidates.
A lot of sitting councillors that will not be running again. And so I think, I'm not quite sure, but I think this is one of the largest turnovers for council that we've seen in a very long time.
I feel like a lot more people are going to be interested in voting on this level this time for some reason.
I hope so. I think that watching the way the federal piece rolled out, I think people are just engaged. It's like, there seems to be a lot happening and happening fast. And so people are kind of aware. And I'll tell you that on the door, I mean, people are like, oh, when's the election? But they're certainly engaged enough to ask me follow-up questions and, okay, well, what are you running on? What's your story? And, and so they want to hear that now. They've wanted to hear that in January and February and March. No one's really waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never heard until recently people actually talking about like by-elections and lower level elections. People talk about the federal election and then don't really care normally about the rest.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people are more interested now.
I feel like Calgary is like writing its story. I think like even what you're doing here right now is like a fabulous part of like writing that next chapter of like how the city looks and feels and who's a part of it and how we engage with it. And I think that people are excited and want to be a part of writing it. Yeah.
Thanks. I'm going to use that as a reel to promote my show.
Okay, cool.
I couldn't have said it better. Monique Barrie is a Calgary-based entrepreneur and advocate. This episode is about philanthropy, stepping into a new industry, and building something meaningful from the ground up. In this clip, Monique talks specifically about the work being done through Not in My City and why it matters. We met at the Not in My City event.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Oh gosh, I guess I went to my first Not in My City event in probably 5 years ago at the Dean House. And I understood the topic of human trafficking, but just as the name implies not in my city, I just assumed that didn't happen in our city, which was very naive. But most people I know, until they know,
yeah,
I don't know.
I learned so much at that event. I had no idea.
The guest speaker that was there, the survivor that night, she was speaking at Dean House, and it really blew me away. I had a young child at home, and I was sitting there with a few friends, and I was weeping, visibly weeping, when she was telling her story about being trafficked for 12 years. And I could see, Paul and his wife, Paul Brandt, everyone's visibly crying. And it was head knowledge when she was explaining how she had been trafficked for 12 years all over the world, but being from Alberta. And then when it sinks into your heart, I think I cried for 3 days off and on because I had a young daughter at home. And the topic, well, it scared me. And it was a bit like, Paul always says, it's like holding on to a bomb or a grenade, and then you got to let it go. And I thought, how can I help? How can I make an impact? So I vowed to myself from that moment that I would bring 25 to 50 people, net new, to every event that they had so that I could help people understand more about human trafficking. And that's where the idea was born. And working with the group at Not in My City, every single person that works with Not in My City is so dedicated to advocacy against human trafficking. I'm very proud of the work they do. So I consider myself an ally. Regardless of having made a film or documentary for them, I've been an ally for the last 5 years. And the work that they're doing is meaningful, even if we only ever help one person. I'm very, very proud to be an ally.
This next conversation stood out for a couple reasons. Jenna is my sister, but she's also a chronobiologist who studies circadian rhythm and sleep. This episode brought real science into everyday conversation, and it genuinely changed how I think about my own habits and routines.
Another one is I don't know if you've ever heard the term social jet lag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if we sleep during the week when we work, we get up at 7 a.m. and we're going to bed at, 11 p.m. We're getting a good 8 hours. But then on the weekend, we stay up until 1 a.m. and we sleep for another 8 hours till 9. Even though we're sleeping for 8 hours consistently throughout the week, that shift in our sleeping schedule is called social jet lag, and it has implications for disease and behavioral. I say behavior, but we can say like psychiatric for humans. But there are consequences to that shift for sure. And another thing is there's a 2-process model of sleep that has been proposed, and it's talked about a lot in the field. And that would be the homeostatic function of sleep. So we feel sleep pressure throughout the day when we don't get it. We get a buildup of something in our body and we want to fall asleep at night. But there's also the circadian pressure of sleep, I guess. And that's more so involved with consolidating our sleep process. So we consolidate sleep to the night period, and having consolidated sleep is good. And so there's some people who think like, oh, I can sleep for 4 hours and then 4 hours and then 4 hours or something. I don't know, 4, 4, 2, whatever you want to do. And that's okay. But that consolidation process is indicative of a healthy, robust system.
Sarah Lambros is Miss Calgary. This episode is about pageantry, confidence, and representing something bigger than yourself. In this clip, Sarah reframes pageantry away from surface-level beauty and towards confidence, presence, and what it means to show up with purpose. One thing we didn't talk about that we talked about the other day is that a lot of people think a pageant is a beauty contest, and they don't know any more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And you had some thoughts.
Yeah, so in a way, it's about your beauty, but beauty is in, are you showing your personality? Are you showing off your confidence? Like when you go on stage, when you pick a gown, they're not looking at you thinking, is she pretty? Does she look good in the gown? They're thinking, is she walking with confidence? Did she pick a gown that suits who she is? Can we get a glimpse into her personality when she's on stage? And I think that's a really important skill to be able to do, is show who you are just by your presence. And, aside from that, there's a lot of it has nothing to do with the beauty component. There's interviews, there's humanitarian projects. Like it really is an all-encompassing, like who you are as a person, and like how are you a strong and independent and hardworking woman. That's really what they're looking for. And in terms of like the beauty, personally, I think it's important to show that you did your hair, you did your makeup, not so you look better, but to show that you put in the effort to look professional. Because like I said, you're representing a city or an organization or a country, right? And no matter what you look like, you should make sure that you're looking your best. Right. Mm-hmm. So that's the most important thing. So it is a beauty competition, but the beauty is your confidence and your strength.
Dave Sweet is a former homicide detective and board member with Gems for Gems, and Jordan Guildford is the founder. This was the first episode in the new studio and the first episode of the year. In this clip, Jordan shares a childhood story about a bracelet, her mother's reaction, and how that moment eventually became Gems for Gems and more than 28,000 gifts given across Canada.
So it actually started with a jewelry drive, and I had absolutely no thought of creating a charity at all. I just wanted to be able to do something nice for survivors of abuse in shelters on Christmas morning, because I came from a background where my mom raised my brother and my sister and I alone, and we lived in pretty extreme poverty. We didn't have heat, hot water, food often. But my gran would always give us $20 each at Christmas time. And this one Christmas, my brother and my sister and I pooled our money when I was 14. And we gave our mom a little bracelet. And it looked like leaves kind of woven together. And we thought it was diamonds in it. Definitely not. But it was the prettiest thing, we could afford and that we saw. And we were so excited to give it to her on Christmas morning. But when she opened it, she just started bawling and left the room. And it left us mortified. It's interesting because we all experienced kind of a different form of that mortification because for me, I was worried that I shone a light on what my dad should have done for her. My sister was just upset, period. Like whatever the bad situation was, we just made it worse. And then my brother, who is 6.5 years younger than me, was like, oh, I knew we got the wrong one. But then she came back and she had put her makeup on and put on her best clothes and did her hair. And she sat us down and she told us that this little piece of jewelry had put her back on her own radar. So when I moved here about 10 years ago from Nova Scotia, I was blown away by the beautiful initiatives at Christmas time for children, but I did note that there was nothing for the mothers. And I told that story at a dinner party, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to collect gently used jewelry from women in the public, make little packages and give them as Christmas gifts. Anyway, it blew up. It was amazing. First of all, every woman in that room went to their group of friends and they collected. And then Orange Theory in Seaton, which was only Orange Theory and the liquor store at the time. And between all of us, which I had just moved here, I didn't know anybody, they rallied so big that we were able to do packages of 3 to 5 items for 436 women, which was, it was almost all the women in the shelters in Calgary at that time, which now, sadly, it's gone way up from there. But at the time, that almost did it. So I knew I wanted to keep doing it, and I just didn't anticipate how big this was going to get. But I'm awfully proud to be a part of the team that's made this possible. And now we've done 28,000 gifts as of this year across Canada.
The Blue is a Calgary-based musician and the festival manager for Sled Island. This was his second appearance on the show. The first conversation focused on Sled Island. In this clip, the focus shifts to him. He talks about the change between his albums Things Could Be Worse and So Look at the Bright Side, and how losing his voice, slowing down, and choosing intentional gratitude reshaped both his music and his mindset.
I would be overcompensating by pushing my voice at times and then just not letting it rest and just continuing that cycle. And eventually got really bad, plus just other things like going out to shows and cheering too much, like when you're pushing your vocal cords. Like, so just the compilation of all of that just ended up getting it to that point. I took it, my doctor, they sent me to a specialist and they were like, it's like brutal. They gave me medicine to take for a few months where I couldn't, they specifically said, don't perform, you can't shout, you can't whisper, you can't do like all these things, you can't drink this, etc. So it was a weird time, and just other things didn't feel like they were going how I wanted to, just in life in general. And then things changed there. And it wasn't like I wasn't getting down on myself, and I wasn't like, oh, boo-hoo, boo me. But it was definitely like a lower point. But I was still trying to stay positive in some sense or find good things in my life, which there were so many. And that's where Things Could Be Worse came from. It was like all these things that may seem bad to me, but things could be worse. When I looked at it, I was like, oh, I've got an amazing family. I've got great friends. I've got this. I'm finishing university. I have these opportunities in other aspects of my life. And so, all those things, especially like after that Shad show, sparked everything going back into music. And I wrote most of the album through the pandemic as well. And so exploring that of like, oh, I found this love for music again. Cool. We can't perform. We're all stuck indoors. And like, but that forced me to learn to produce, and that forced me to spend more time every day intentionally writing more. And that really sparked a change for things for me. And so that's where that came from. Things Could Be Worse came from that period of time. And then, So Look at the Bright Side. I initially had the idea of it being more of this still hip hop album, but more poppy, like more happy-go-lucky. But as I started writing, it was more reflective. It was more grateful, things like that. So it didn't necessarily take that same sound, but it had me exploring different things. And so it really ended up working out that way, where I was thinking, switching the mindset of things could be worse. It's like, cool, things aren't where I want them to, but they could be worse. That's like one way to look at things. Or you could intentionally look at the bright side, look at the good things in life, look at those great things. And that's how that album came to be.
Connie DeSousa and John Jackson are chefs, restaurateurs, and the co-founders of Char Hospitality Group. This episode is about leadership, responsibility, and building culture inside the hospitality industry. In this clip, John shares a funny but hard-earned lesson in leadership that stuck with him. Is there something you've learned in leadership the hard way that made you teach differently?
Yes.
This is a great story.
Yeah, Connie already knows. See, the thing is, like, by co-chefs, I'm in her head, she's in my head. There's nothing that I think that she doesn't already know what I'm going to say. So being co-chefs, I mean, like, what the fuck is a co-chef? You know what I mean? Like, there's 2 co-chefs? What do you mean? You only need 1 chef. Well, for us, you need 2. And because Connie started as, apprentice and worked our way up, I was always the chef, right? And becoming co-chefs, I mean, I was committed to us being equal when it came to everything. And so was she. But when we first opened Charcut, 15 years ago, and we're like getting ready to open the doors to the public and all the cooks are prepping, there's one cook over in the corner prepping artichokes, and I saw the way he was prepping it, and I wasn't really in agreement with how he was prepping it, and I made sure he knew. And in a very nice, tactful way, I said, what are you doing, man? Like, do you want me to show you how to clean an artichoke properly? So, and I show him how I would do it. And, I feel Connie staring at me. I feel her eyes like just burning in my head. I'm like, whoa, what did
It's
I
funny
do?
now, but at the time there was a lot of negative energy.
It was like, seriously, you could feel it everywhere. Like, if there would have been a plant there, it would have just shriveled up and died. Like, it was powerful. And anyways, then Connie pulled me into like this pantry area right off the line, and it's just like one of your curtains. It's not a soundproof room, but regardless, she let me know that they're never going to respect me. I showed them how to clean it that way. And you just like humiliated me, and they're not going to respect anything I say if you tell them that's not the right way. And she was right. She was absolutely right. And from that moment on, I knew that we had to do things differently in front of our staff, and we needed to be united, and we needed to be that one voice when it came to that. And so we have this agreement that anytime we see somebody doing something that we don't agree with being the right way, we first say, who showed you how to do it that way? And and if somebody says, oh, John showed me, and Connie's asking, it's like, it's perfect. And then she'll, we'll go behind the curtain. She'll say, I don't know what you're showing them, but it's kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? So we have that. So that was a big learning experience.
Huge, yeah.
Stafford Arima is the artistic director of Theatre Calgary. This episode is about creative risk and the unexpected paths that shape a career in theatre. In this clip, Stafford tells the story of answering an ad to be the Xerox person on a show, to years later directing that same production in New York.
So ragtime became an entrance and a kind of opening for me to just be a part of something brand new. And, as a production assistant, you just want to be in the room. And I was relegated to the photocopier room, where I was basically given, new script pages and given new score pages for all the music. And because it was quite a large cast and creative team, I just pushed 48, go, made sure they were all collated, and then handed those sheets and those script pages back to stage management who distributed it. I always printed out one extra copy. So instead of 48, I did 49, because I wanted to keep one of these copies for myself, and started to kind of put it in a binder and realize, oh, this scene, which used to be 7 pages long, is now 4. Oh, what did the librettist, the script, the book writer, who was Terrence McNally, what did he cut? What did he do? And so it was a kind of way to learn without being taught, just by observing and by kind of keeping these pieces of paper. And you'd all of a sudden see a page that it used to be a 4-page scene between two characters. And then all of a sudden that scene would be gone and it would be replaced by a song. So now you have two people singing to each other. So it was an incredible way for me to learn about how you take something from page to stage. And the interesting thing about this experience for myself was that I started off as, I say, the director of or vice president of Xeroxing. And then a number of years later, I became the resident director of the show in New York on Broadway, which that role is someone who stays with the show to kind of maintain the artistic integrity of the production. Because the original director, Frank Galati, was off doing other shows and new work. So they needed someone to be there to maintain it and watch the show and give notes and rehearse new people that were going into the show. And then out of that experience, I had an extraordinary gift from the authors, Terrence McNally and Lynn Ahrens and Stephen Flaherty, and they asked if I was available and interested to direct the West End production of Ragtime in the West End at the Piccadilly Theatre. So that's a very long way to say that Ragtime was a very instrumental show for me, going from Toronto, moving to New York, and then inevitably staying in New York for those 20 years. One never knows that, your first experience with anybody or anything, and that could be in a room with a Xerox machine, that experience can lead you to fulfilling even more greater dreams, which is moving to a city that you've always wanted to live in or work in, directing something out of town. And that all began because I was a Xerox machine person who just sat in a room for 2 weeks pushing 49 over and over again. And so that's where I think in many ways that I've been always thrilled and excited to inspire a conversation with people to know that if you have a dream, and I'm a big believer of dream manifestation. There was a book written many, many years ago, I think, called The Secret. And there was, it was this kind of sense that, you close your eyes and you believe and you visualize the Rolls Royce and the Rolls Royce will appear. And obviously that doesn't work that way. But to me, the premise of manifesting one's dream is to see it, to believe that it's possible to ascertain, but then focus your life, your passion, every cell in your body in making that dream happen through action-oriented experiences. And even though I didn't know that I would live in New York for 20 years, it became apparent that everything that I did led me to that dream becoming a reality. And it could be something as simple as answering an ad in the Toronto Star looking for a receptionist. Because really that's where it all began. If I didn't answer that ad, who knows what my life would be, or if I'd be sitting here with you today, Jeff.
Yeah, that's a great story. The law of attraction. This was the Labor Day special of the show, so I brought in Stampeders Outriders, Jill and Lena, who are also members of the Roughnecks drill crew. This episode is about the discipline and work that goes into professional dance in Calgary sports. In this clip, they talk about the misconception that dancers aren't athletes and what the training and physical demands of the role actually look like. Can you tell me a common misconception people have about what you do?
I think a lot of people don't realize the strength that it takes to be on these teams. Like, we are athletes. I train in the gym pretty much every day to keep up with my dancing. I go to chiro all the time to keep my body in shape. And yeah, like I think a lot of the times people, and I don't know if it's true, maybe people do, but I think the biggest common misconception would be like that dancers are artists instead of athletes, but dancers are artists and athletes.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with Jill, along with, like you've gone to school, you have an education, you have a full-time job, you do 6 other things on the side on top of this. That's kind of a misconception too, is that, you're just a cheerleader for this team. So yeah.
How has being on these teams shaped who you are as people outside of the game?
My confidence has grown so much being on these teams. Answer. I think being able to hold conversations is a big thing that I learned through the teams, and the confidence that it takes to obviously be out there. You grow up without stage fright, but I think I just have become so much more confident in who I am. I also have found some of my best friends in the world, and having people who truly cheer you on really pushes you to be the best version of yourself, because you've got cheerleaders in your back pocket and you've got the training to really excel. So I think I just became the most confident, most successful version of myself.
And part of both these teams, we do a lot of community outreach and things like that. And, you have to be on and be able to talk to people and, have that confidence to put yourself out there. And the time when we did have to sell a physical calendar, like we were told you have to go up to every single person you see to try to sell them this calendar. So talk about, rejection at its finest. And you're going to ask 10 people and maybe one will say yes to it. So yeah, it really makes you put yourself out there. And then just everyday things. I have less anxiety because I'm so used to being put out there on display kind of thing, to talk to people or have that confidence to hold a conversation, as Jill was saying.
This moment comes from our Halloween special, Trick or Deets. A friend of mine, Cassie, came in to do my Two-Face makeup, and it was really cool to see the cosplay community rally around this episode. In this clip, Vixen shares her philosophy on creativity and cosplay, and why as long as you think it's cool, that's all that matters. What's the biggest thing you want people to take away from your work?
I think having fun. I think at the end of the day, that's what I like to do the most out of everything that I do. I've taken a lot of creative ventures with my work because I love it. That's great. Being creative is everything to me. I think I would go completely insane if I could not be creative. And I think, a lot of people kind of ask me like, well, how did you start cosplay? And what are your tips on posing? I don't think I have tips on posing. Tips on posing is relax and like enjoy it. Actually feel like you're enjoying the character, and the joy that you feel will show in the photo. It's so much more important to have your own joy and excitement and like it yourself and like really have it in your heart more than it is to be like, this is going to get good views. This is going to look cool. Like other people are going to think it's cool. As long as you think it's cool, it's fucking cool. That's it. That's all that really matters. And I try to perpetrate that as much as I can, even if I have my own down moments a lot of being like, man, this costume sucked. I hated it. I did a couple of costumes this 31 days, and I'm going through and I'm doing different costumes and I'm replacing the ones I'm not fond of. And as I'm doing them, I'm like, I should just delete it because like I'm not going to use it anyway. But as I'm doing them, I'm like, no, like it's still I still worked on it. It's still content. So I'm going to post it later. And I like the edits. I think the edits made it look cool. So fuck you. It's cool. And I posted it anyway. I want people to look at my page and not go like, this is someone who does like perfect cosplay and she's so good at what she does. I want them to kind of look at it and go, oh, wow, that one fucking sucks. But she worked really hard on that one. And that's really cool.
This was the mayoral election special. Brian Thiessen, Jeremy Farkas, Sonia Sharp, and Jeff Davison all stopped by the show during the most recent mayoral election cycle. This was a really meaningful moment for the show, and I heard from a lot of people that these conversations helped bring clarity, awareness, and context as they were making their decisions.
I realized like the tomorrow that you put off never came. right? And at the time, I'm 52 years old. I lost my best friend from law school who I'd always intended to do this one day with. And, as the Romans say, enjoy the hour. It's later than you think. And so I said to my family, my firm asked me to renew for a third term as managing partner, and I turned them down. My family supported me in pursuing public service, and I said I wanted to give back for the next 10 years of my career. My most productive, at the peak of my career, I want to engage in public service.
Well, I'd say losing the 2021 election was probably one of the best things that could have ever happened to me. It really got to teach me who my friends were. It gave me the opportunity to be able to step up and contribute in different ways. It allowed me to really build up on that skill set, to be able to bring folks together. In the time since, I've been able to serve in a number of amazing roles. Got to do some amazing stuff, like walk on foot for 172 days all the way from Mexico to Canada. But I was able to do all of that because I could build and lean on a team. So out at Glenbow Ranch, I've really been able to build that skill set, working as a CEO, bringing together all sorts of folks across party lines to be able to fight for and protect the things that matter the most. And it's really that skill set that I'm hoping to be able to bring as Calgary's next mayor, to be able to keep the mayor's chair independent of political parties and to really focus on those safety and affordability issues.
And so, through my eyes and my experience is, how do you balance that all of that experience, and channel all that energy to serve everybody? Because this is not about you. This is not, or me. Like this job is not about me. It's about you and your needs. And so that's parking your ego, parking your wants, and knowing that regardless of what title I've held since I started in 2001 as a lifeguard, I'm a public servant, even to this day. And even, if I become the mayor, I'm a public servant. I serve the public. And that sense of, understanding in my mind is, I would say, up and beyond anyone that's running against me.
Running a provincial health charity, every dollar we raise is how we spend it, right? We run solely on philanthropic dollars. It's giving you a different perspective on how you need to create outcomes, right? You need to be able to do more with less. And I think that's really what we're hearing from a lot of Calgarians right now, is that from time to time, City Council's been spending a lot of money and nobody can really tell us on what. We don't feel like the impact is there. We don't feel like the benefit to the end user is there. And for me, the biggest thing I think I've learned is that in health compared to the city, at the city, we deal with people's lives, right? We have the chance to affect their lives. In healthcare, we're literally dealing with their life. We have to get it right. And when we don't get it right, we have to be able to pivot quickly. And so it's taught me that, number one, from a dollar perspective, we've got to be able to do more with less, because it's all about the citizens. Just as in healthcare, it's all about the patients. But number two, when things go badly, we have to be able to say, stop, we need to pivot. And we need to start acting like government doesn't have all the answers. We're willing to try things. But when and where we fail on things, we have to be willing to say, we've got to try something else and move on.
Dallas Soonias and Jocelynn Chugg are independent filmmakers based here in Calgary. This episode is about the Alberta film scene and what it takes to build projects locally. In this clip, they talk about making The Saint and the Bear with no budget, no shortcuts, just people saying yes and figuring out as they went.
I think it might have been CUFF, Calgary Underground Film Festival. Shout out to CUFF.
Whoop, whoop.
They're bang, bingo, bango.
Love you, CUFF.
They had The Saint and the Bear, so we love CUFF.
Yeah.
We saw short films, and Joss mentioned the films that people that we like and people remember are the ones where you leave and you're like, what the hell just happened in that? Like, I want to watch it again. Mm-hmm. So then we set out to make something like that while still keeping it super cheap. So like literally like us on a couch or something like that. Yeah. But how can we add stakes? How can we make it interesting? How can we grab people right away? So I wrote something which was way too long, and we don't shout out Noah Fallis. We should shout out Noah Fallis. He was like, hey, this is long. There's too many words. Nobody's going to give a shit.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, way too much going on.
So we cut like a bunch of pages out of it. So it like hits you really quick. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how we did it. We realized, okay, we want a strong character, a weak character, and we want to flip it really quick and have people be like, what just happened?
Mm-hmm. So then do you bring in a crew?
Yeah. So, well, we did it not the way things are normally supposed to be done.
But when it comes to indie film, there is no specific way that things are supposed to be done, at least as far as I'm concerned. And so you just kind of like let it roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. For us, we had the story, we had the script. And then, who's the first?
It was Christine.
Yeah.
Christine, shout out to the Fraulein.
Yeah.
We reached out to her to DP it, to like shoot the thing. And we're like, hey, shoot it on an iPhone. And she's like, yeah, but very quickly spoke to her partner, Danny Gearey, who's like world-class cameraman. He's like, no. we're gonna make an actual movie. Screw you and your iPhone idea, which I stuck to for like a month, and it slowly went away.
Yeah.
And then you just ask people, good people that you want to work with. And luckily for us, again, she's a kind person and a good actor. So people are like, yeah, I'll jump on it for a day. We're not asking people for like 2 weeks of their time, like that they could be working on something else.
Yeah.
One night, come through, pizza. Everyone was going to do it for free. See, that's another thing when you put a film together, like, well, certainly, I want to say like we do, but maybe it's more on me. It's either free or you pay them their rate, and we're like, yeah, it's got to be free
because we had no budget. It was just like we were gonna make something, and luckily, like I mean, in the film industry, when you're starting out, you do a lot of volunteer work and you help friends out, and you kind of build this community around you, and so luckily, the two of us each had a bit of a community, and so when it came time to make a project, we're like, hey, like we're looking for people. We had so many people reaching out, being like, I want to be a part of it. I want to do this. Like, oh, you and Dallas are doing something? Yeah, sign me up. And to the point where we were like, okay, like we have too many people now.
Yeah. Great problem to have.
Great problem to have.
A bit humble bragging, to be honest. But we got super lucky for that.
Yeah.
It's because everyone was on strike and all the shows weren't happening. Really.
Exactly.
So
everyone was ready to work.
High level people were available.
Yeah.
So how long did it take to make?
From sundown to sun, like the actual shooting of it? Or like the production, like pre-production?
Both. Just start.
It was like a record
to
amount of time. We did it crazy fast.
Yeah. When the sun went down, so it was like 6:30, the camera turned on and we turned it off like half an hour before the sun came up in the middle of February last year.
Wow.
January.
Word. So cold. It got so cold. Yeah. The crew, shout out to the crew, man. So tough.
Yeah.
Like just not stopping, dealing with it. They're used to, like Alberta crews are used to dealing with it. Like people don't normally bring projects to Alberta to shoot in a studio. Mm-hmm. They're like, hey, you got a mountain? Let's go shoot there. That sort of thing. Yeah. So they're super tough.
Totally. So about 12 hours.
Filming.
That's the answer.
A little less.
Sorry.
12 hours was our shoot day, one day.
Yeah.
And then we had a goal to get into Cuff. That was our we wanted to make a film. When the Hallmark thing fell through, we were like, you know what? Okay, let's make a short that gets into Cuff. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of a big thing for us. And so our shoot day was January 22nd, I believe. Mm-hmm. And the Cuff deadline to submit was January 31st. And so we had an awesome team. We were like, all right, like it's a super short. It's about 6 minutes. Let's try and whip this thing up and get it done. And we ended up getting a couple days extension from Cuff. Thank you. And we made it. So like the whole thing from start to finish, by the time we kind of really got our script going, I don't know, like a month and a half, 2
something
months.
Like that.
Like it was really fast.
That seems really fast. I don't know. I'm not an expert,
was
but
wild fast. But I love it. That's how I want to keep doing it.
Devin Cooper is a musician based here in Calgary. Ladies love him, men want to be him. This episode goes beyond music. It's about identity, giving back, and what it means to use your platform for something bigger than yourself. In this clip, I gift Devin a custom shirt to auction off for his charity, and we talk about how small moments can turn into real impact.
Yeah.
I have kind of two presents for you.
Okay.
One is for you.
Okay.
And one, I figured it's the same thing, but I think we could maybe you sign it and we auction it for your charity.
Okay, cool.
If anyone wants to bid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
On the theme of your shirts.
Yeah.
Okay. Here you go. One for you. One for some lucky winner.
Oh, man.
I'm going to show the camera.
That's so cool.
There we go. And the camera should be looking at this now. But yeah, I think we sign one of those.
Yeah.
And I make a reel out of this and we get some bidding started.
That is beyond cool.
I have a silver and gold marker. I don't know. Do you want to auction it off?
Yeah, I think gold.
Not to take away from your merch, because let's also go to your merch store and buy some of that. But this will be for your charity.
I love that. Thank you so much.
We'll sign it after me.
Yeah.
So it's not awkward getting up and everything.
Yeah,
but
that's so cool.
What do you think of the Deets shirt?
I love it. You made me look pretty jacked too, which I like.
It's supposed to be like one of the, one of those shirts, like an 80s rock shirt.
That's so cool. Thank you very much.
No problem.
I've had people make me like, little signs and things like that, but like this is over the top. Thank you.
Well, it's for your charity, but then I actually was going to make just one and for your charity, but I wanted you to have one.
Yeah.
Because
that's so cool.
I've been laughing at this for like a week. I just can't believe it. It came together really well. It's really well made too.
It's so good. Thank you.
Beckler and Seanna are the hosts of X92.9 Mornings here in Calgary. This episode is about radio, community, and why local media still matters in a digital world. In this clip, they talk about what makes radio different, the human side, the local connection, and why it still plays an important role. With social media and podcasts and streaming and everything, why do you think people keep coming back to radio?
Well, it's free. It's free and it's very easy. It's so accessible, right? You just push one button. You don't have to think about it. You just, this is the station I like. Mm-hmm. We'll pick some cool music for you. We'll talk about something that we hope you'll be interested in. I think it's so simple. And it's local and it's live, right?
And that's the big one for me, I think, is that local. We're quickly losing local.
Mm-hmm.
And people want to feel a part of their community, especially if you're driving and stuff and you're listening to something that's outside of your, even country for, talking about a concert in LA or something. It's like, that's great, but that's not telling you what's happening in your exact city at that time. And I find people are clinging more and more to local content because they do want to know what's happening and they can relate to references we make on the air. And people want that now, right? Especially after COVID. And I think so many people felt so apart from one another and so lonely that I think it's really important. And people are starting to realize how much they want that.
And human content too.
Yeah.
That's going to be an ongoing battle.
That's it. Yeah. Not just fake stuff.
We will be our own worst enemy if we move away from that, right? As an industry.
Totally.
If we move to, more syndication, more out of market stuff, more, canned stuff.
This episode was complete chaos for me in true Girl Dinner fashion. Girl Dinner is a comedy show made for millennial women, and even though I'm very much not in the target demo, I'm a huge fan of these two. Amber's a little weird. In this clip, the conversation completely derails into pure Friday energy, and it perfectly captures their chemistry. Can you describe your brand of funny compared or separate from that?
Well, I don't think I would say it's not call her daddy funny. I think that we're very silly. Like we're very goofy. We're always joking. So if you listen to Girl Dinner and you're like, oh my God, why would they say that? It's a joke.
You have to,
it really is.
Take anything we say with a grain of salt.
It's always a joke.
Yeah. We hate on men a lot, but that's also a joke.
It is a joke. We love the men.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
Not little bitches though.
Okay.
Don't be a little bitch. That's Nick.
Sorry, Sharon. So sorry.
It's wholesome. Your podcast is wholesome.
Oh,
and when
thanks.
you laugh, I laugh every time. Sometimes I didn't even hear what you said. And I'm just laughing because it's your laugh.
That's the vibe.
That
That's
almost
what we
made
wanted.
me cry. That was so inspiring.
Please don't cry.
I won't.
That's kind of what we wanted, though. We've had a lot of people say it's kind of like you're just sitting with your girlfriends in their house just chilling, and that's exactly what we wanted.
Yeah, totally. It's kind of like, you have late night energy. We have Friday energy, right? We want you to feel like you've maybe had one glass of wine and you're like a sneeze from dancing on the table.
Yeah.
But you're like at the point where you're talking about deep shit that you wouldn't post on the internet. And you're like, oh my God, we can't say this out loud.
I have never heard us described better than that moment right there.
Scene.
Yeah, we're done. Okay.
Wrap it up.
Thanks for coming.
Just starts taking off my socks.
Micah Sage is Calgary's queen of glitter pop. This episode is about authenticity, alignment, and learning how to trust where you're at creatively. In this clip, Micah reflects on her journey and shares a message to her past self and future self about staying aligned and true to who you are. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Can you give a message to your younger self from the position you're in now?
Yeah, I think about her a lot. And I think about my little tiny child self a lot. And I think about even myself a year ago. I think your life can change so much in a year. And I can't even imagine what Mike is doing this time next year. Like, that's so awesome for her. I'm so excited. And I think that the message I would give to my younger self is to just be confident in what you're doing. I think when you have confidence in what you do, you can only get better. And I think that's what I've learned from performing is that I haven't always felt confident on stage, but every time if you just do something a little bit more confident, like eventually it becomes like natural to you. And confident in not like a I know everything, I can do everything kind of way, but like more like a believing in yourself kind of way. I almost wish that I would have done that a little bit sooner. I think I was timid a little bit to go into the music industry. And when you're graduating high school and all of your friends are going to university and you're not, it's kind of like, oh, am I doing the right thing right now? And like nobody else is doing what you're doing. And you kind of have to like make new friends and sort of outsource for like almost like, I want to say peer support, that like all of your peers that have been in your life are doing something else. And so they don't really understand anymore. They still love you and they support you, but it's important to find the people from your planet because it's sort of, that's where I find the peer validation, almost that like, we're all just doing the same thing together and we all just want to lift each other up. I think it would be to be less timid to find those people because they're there and they're out there and they want to love you.
Can you also give a message to your future self?
Yes, I very much want to enjoy every second of everything that I'm doing all the time. And it's not easy to do that because there's so many things going on just in everybody's life all of the time. It's so easy for people to rush through their lives and to just like let's just get to the next thing. Let's just get to the weekend or get to the next project or whatever. And I find myself doing that quite often, but I think it's important to milk your life, and especially moments like the show at the King Eddie, that like what an experience to have that many people in a room to share that with you. And it's not even necessarily about how many people are in the room, but that like that the feeling that it gives me is like nothing else. And I think it's important to milk your life and cherish the things you have in your life, cherish the connections you have in your life and the things that you do, because I talked about this a little bit last night, is that everything passes and everything changes. And sometimes it's a bit scary, but I think it makes everything more special that you have right now and you can just enjoy right now. And so wherever future Micah Sage is, I just want her to find the silver linings in where she is and enjoy what she's doing.
Russell Broom has been making a living with his guitar in his hands for over 40 years. He's worked with some of the biggest artists in Canada, stayed rooted in Calgary, and never chased trends. In this moment, he sums up a mindset that only comes with longevity. What other people think of me is none of my business.
Artists are anyone who puts something they create out into the world, knowing that anybody behind user 577973415 can say the shittiest thing in the world to them without any consequences. And they can choose to take that personally or not. That is a braver person than most. So I think any artist that people have in their lives, I advise to people around artists is to support and be a resource for them, knowing that they're putting themselves on the line every day. And with every artist that is bold enough to do it, just do it louder. And, one of my main mantras is what other people think of me is none of my business. Like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. It should have no bearing on what I create, what other people think of it. If people like it and it's consumed and it has a resonance of people, great. If someone doesn't like it and wants to say something shitty about it, great. I'd rather get a reaction than nothing. I'd love a 1-star or a 5-star review. 2 to 4, don't want to hear about it. Don't care.
Jake Peacock is a professional Muay Thai fighter and one of the most disciplined people I've had on the show. This episode is about mindset, consistency, and what it actually takes to show up every day and do the work. In this clip, Jake talks about a philosophy he lives by, be about it, and why discipline matters more than motivation.
Mile away, and I have nothing to prove. I have nothing to prove.
You've proved it, I would say. So, fighting isn't just physical, and you wanted to talk about the mindset a little bit. What is the mindset it takes to actually step into the ring?
Yeah, that's a big question. I think the sport is like 80% mental, 20% physical, 80% mental. When you get to a certain level as well, it's all mental. Once you get to the highest level and you start entering the top 15 in the world, what separates the number 15 guy from the number 1 guy, the champion? It's mindset. It's mindset. We all have the same skills, different strengths in different areas for sure, but mindset's the determining factor there. So I'm big on mindset. I'm big on mentality. It shapes how I train. It shapes how I fight. It shapes life. I coined the phrase be about it. Be about it, don't talk about it. That's my mentality right there. If you want something done, go out there and get it done. Be a person of action, not a person of just words and just talking it out loud. For sure, speak it out loud, but back it up with action. Talk the talk, walk the walk, do the whole thing.
Yeah. Jeremie Saunders is the co-host of the award-winning Sick Boy podcast. This episode is about turning pain into purpose. From living with cystic fibrosis to building one of Canada's biggest podcasts, Jeremie shares how humor became a way to survive, connect, and break stigma around illness. In this clip, Jeremie talks about finding meaning inside suffering. This was one of my favorite episodes and favorite moments of the entire year. And if you haven't seen the full conversation, you should absolutely go check it out. The question is, what key things you've learned while podcasting that help you cross different thresholds, and what barriers you hit that you didn't even know existed until you hit them?
I think one of the key things that I've learned is and this stems from, so when we started this 10 years ago, we had no intentions of making a living off of it. And we didn't start making money until, 5-6 years in. And when I say making money, I don't mean making money to live off of.
Like covering your costs? Let
me say this to anybody who's listening to this, who has aspirations of getting into podcasting. There's no money in podcasting. There really isn't. And I know that hearing that from someone who is making money from podcasting is probably fucking annoying. I'll say it to you because you're doing this. You want this to turn into a profitable endeavor. It won't. It fucking won't.
Hope my wife's not listening right now.
And what I mean by that is the mentality that you need to carry into this if you want it to make money. Because if you want it to make money, it's not gonna. There are millions of podcasts. There's 9 million podcasts.
You know what I saw today? This AI company, they have 8 staff. They have 5,000 podcasts. They do 3,000 episodes per week they put out.
$1 an episode?
$1 an episode.
Yeah, I read that too. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So what are we doing?
Yeah. And that's today. I mean, 5 years ago, also, there's not money in podcasting. There's not money in podcasting from a stance of being an independent creator. The money in podcasting is wrapped up in massive S&P 500 companies. Acast. You want to make money in podcasting? Apply to work at Acast. You want to make money in podcasting? Send your resume in to work for Amazon in their podcast department. You want to make money at podcasting? Get a job at a massive podcast studio that is making bespoke content for brands. There's some money in podcasting, but if you want to start a podcast in your basement and you want to like pull in the cash cow, it's not going to happen. And so if that's the thing that someone hears to make them think, oh, well, then I don't want to do it. That's my goal, because that was never our intention, was to make money through podcasting. We did this because we fucking loved it. We did this because we saw the impact it was having. We did this because we saw it was shaping how we showed up in our interpersonal relationships. We did this because it was fun. We did this because it was funny. We did this because we were best friends. Those are the reasons why we now make money doing this. So that's what I mean by you're not going to make money podcasting if you're podcasting to make money. It's just not going to happen. It might, but it's probably not. Like to be very frank and very honest, it probably isn't. But if you do, and this is the thing that I learned, if you're doing any form of creativity, do it for the love of it. Do it because it brings you joy. Do it because it makes you a better person. Do it because it's the thing that makes living, which, like, let's be honest, being alive is fucking awful. It is awful. I would not be surprised in the slightest if when I'm dead, I end up somewhere, my soul gets to some place and someone says, hey, you did it. You got through hell. That was hell. That life is suffering. Life is just one horrific chapter after another. Take 10 seconds to just open your phone and look at what the fuck is going on in the world. This is a horrible place. And in the exact same breath, it is one of the most glorious, beautiful places filled with the most incredible experiences at the same time. And art is just one ingredient in that soup of beauty. And so if you can find a way to do whatever it is that brings you joy, that is some form of creative expression, and you just do it because it makes you fucking just feel incredible and it brings you life, stick to it for that and the money will follow.
When you're podcasting, do you, in your mind, see like that's a reel?
No.
Yeah,
But like partway through, I was like, you're on a roll. Like halfway through, I was like, God damn, dude, you better write this down.
Kelsey Verzotti is a musical theater actor, recently known for stepping into the lead role of Elle Woods in Legally Blonde. This episode is a deep look at what it actually takes to carry a lead role night after night, the preparation, the pressure, and the expectations that come with it. In this clip, Kelsey talks about how she's different from Elle, what she genuinely loves about the character, and why she almost turned the role down in the first place. Actually, I was going to ask you a question of, in your real life, how are you different from Elle?
One thing that I love about Elle that I need to work on is she has she never talks badly about herself, and she believes in herself so much, even when everyone else doubts her. And I just think that's so cool. I definitely don't have that. Sometimes like the things that I say about myself can be awful. And like, I'm really working on that self-talk and all of those things. But yeah, that's something that I've noticed throughout the show. She obviously like gets down on herself and has moments, but she never says anything mean about herself. Like she really believes in herself.
Do you think playing the character that's going to stick with you a little bit, that feeling?
100%. I mean, this process has helped me grow so much as an artist, but like a person. And like when I first got the offer, I almost turned it down. Like it took me a week to think about it because I genuinely felt like it was just out of my wheelhouse. I couldn't do it. And the 9 months leading up to rehearsals were just pure training, like mindset training and vocal training to get ready for this. And all of the things that I've learned through this training will just make me, I think, better
person.
Yeah,
and
person
actor.
and actor.
Katie Rox has lived a few musical lives, from Jackalope to Nice Horse to her own solo work. This episode is about longevity in music and carrying all those chapters with you as you keep moving forward. In this clip, I give Katie a banjo-lele, and it turns into a really genuine behind-the-scenes moment from the conversation.
Like, I learned how to play the banjo for Nice Horse, but I'm not a natural banjo player. Like, I've been playing it for 9 years.
You're a banjo player. Do you play ukulele?
I don't.
Do you know how?
I could play it.
You have one? What kind?
I bought it in Hawaii.
Like a little Hawaiian one?
cute
Okay,
little- yeah.
I have something for you.
Don't make me play it.
I'm not going to make you play
okay,
it,
because I was like, I don't know the chord shape.
but I want you to have it.
Oh,
Okay?
okay.
And I want you to learn
I'm
it.
scared.
No, it made me think of you.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Oh my God, I've seen these.
This is for you.
Oh my God.
It's a banjo-lele.
Yeah. We need to tune it. Oh my God, where did you find this?
I had it. I've
had it?
had it. Yeah.
You're not really going to give it to me.
I want you to have
Like when
it.
you turn the cameras off, are you going to take it back?
I want you to have it. We're friends now.
If you give me this forever, we really are friends. This is the other instrument. Ask me next year, and I'll be like, I also played the banjo.
You're a professional banjo player.
Yeah.
You had to have it.
Ukulele banjo. How does it tune?
It's a banjo-lele. It's tuned. Someone told me. I'm not a musician.
Oh, isn't that how a ukulele is tuned? My dog has fleas.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's a little out of tune. I can't really tell. That's very nice.
Yeah. So
I'm keeping it.
you're keeping it. Learn it and get back to me. Maybe make a video or something.
Okay, maybe.
1 year from now. You have a year.
I do. And then maybe I could be nominated for specialty instrument for this.
Yeah, bring it on stage one time. Yeah.
Now I really want to. That's very nice.
Okay, bring it on stage tonight. Just
listen.
pretend you forgot your banjo.
Yeah, and be like, shit, guys, sorry. You know what? Actually, though, this would be way better for travel.
Right.
Right? The banjo's heavy.
I was just really thinking when I got you this gift.
I love it so much.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, here's the story. I loved it so much too.
Uh-oh.
You know what my favorite part is?
I was like, there's so many banjo jokes just ready to fly.
Look, the little skull and
I
crossbones.
just saw that. It's amazing. Because that's
It's
another.
kind of a punk rock.
It's like
banjo-lele.
a jackalope banjo. Like we finally combined it.
There you go.
I'll do a jackalope cover. Well, it's not even a cover. I help write them. I'll do a jackalope version playing this.
Okay.
That's actually a really fun idea. I actually think I'm really going to do that now.
Okay. Good.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. I like you for
I'm
some
back,
reason.
baby.
I don't know.
I think you, well, you know.
We're friends.
You like me for now.
Yeah.
It can change. It can change very fast.
Okay. I do have more. I just wanted to give that to you. We were talking about instruments.
It's the best.
But pretty much everything else I have, it's kind of like closing thoughts. So I thought now's a good time.
Yeah.
So closing thoughts. Kelly Hrudey joined me on the show to talk about hockey, broadcasting, and life after the game. It was honestly a pretty amazing moment for me to have Kelly come on the show. During the conversation, he opens up about his mental health and some of the things he does to manage it.
You know what? If I'm really going to come clean in this book, I better share something, because I was going through something in 92, 93. I didn't know what it was. Of course, back then, especially in sports and men, you never talked about anything that you're dealing with. And so what happened in the summer of 92, Donna was pregnant with Caitlin. So we'd already had two daughters. I think I was entering my 10th year in the National Hockey League. And for people out there that don't know, the average career is about 3 years. So I'm well beyond that. And I'm wondering, because Donna's pregnant, how much longer I can do this. How much longer can I stay at this level? And those thoughts are reasonable. Those are not unreasonable thoughts, right? But when they went from that to unreasonable, then things took a dark turn for me. So I went from how much longer can I do this to you no longer can keep doing this. You're, that whole fraud thing. And then somehow I got off to a great start that year. I have no idea how, because I had all these the loop going round, until finally I had a meltdown or an episode in Milwaukee. We had a neutral site there, a game in early December, and then I was awful. I was off the rails. So I shared that whole story with Kirsty. It's in the book. And then in January of that year, I was still playing terribly, and Barrie Melrose, thank God, our coach recognized this wasn't something physical. I needed help mentally. So he introduced me to Tony Robbins. And so I worked one-on-one with Tony for a while, and he got me out of that place. And I always tell Barrie, I'm forever grateful for him for doing this. I ended up playing 5 more years in the league. That year we went to the final, and it's directly related to Barrie and Tony. And then I was pretty much free and clear of it. We all have moments where we're anxious and we deal with things, but it wasn't overwhelming until the summer of 2019. And I knew these thoughts were coming back a little bit, and we were out at Predator Ridge. I call it my happy place. It's a golf course just outside Vernon. And that summer, Nick Kipros was let go. And I didn't know it at the time, but that actually started all these thoughts again, because I'm thinking, well, why Nick? I'm the oldest one other than Ron, but I'm an analyst, and I started to get those same thoughts. How much longer can you do it? Boy, when you go on the air, you better be perfect or else you're going to be next. And all those ridiculous thoughts, because I will get fired one day. I will be let go. I mean, you got to accept that. And so, but those thoughts became louder and louder. And once again, those thoughts turned into a loop, and I couldn't control them.
What kind of things, you mentioned journaling and seeing someone, what kind of things do you do to make sure, especially in busy times, that you're taking care of yourself?
Sure. Okay. So recognizing when you're starting to get these thoughts and to rationalize those, because that's an important one. What I would suggest to people, I'm not a doctor, so I can't give advice other than just don't do it alone because it's too difficult. But here's what I've done, Jeff. So I'm going to show you this card. So this is what I carry every day with me. It's a little card. Actually, this lesson I was taught by Tony Robbins. So I used to carry a card like that for the last 5 years of my National Hockey League career. Look at the card before every game, and during every intermission, I'd take a little glance at it. It had different points. That doesn't matter. You can do your own card. I've had people share their cards with me since I first went public with this. So here are my points. So breathe, very important. And now you're going to see the next few. It's all about, for me, confidence and believing in myself. So, which sounds silly, doesn't it?
It could, but it works.
Right. So be bold and confident. Trust yourself. You know what you're talking about. There's one here that won't make any sense, so I won't share it. It's just a really deep one for me. And then the person that I see for my mental health, he told me this one line that I'd never thought of in my life. I'm just charging ahead every day, right? Never thought to pat myself on the back. He said, I deserve this success. So to that point, I have this card. You may see it every once in a while on Saturday night in the pregame show, and sometimes later. It's right in front of me, almost every broadcast, just to give me that comfort.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, that's great.
Right? And I don't mind sharing it. And
Mariya Stokes stopped by the show during the release of her album Mood Ring. This episode got a ton of fan votes for different moments, but this one is just a lot of fun. In this clip, Mariya gifts me a mood ring, which I still wear to this day. And somehow, she also ended up being my top Spotify artist of 2025. It perfectly sums up the energy of this episode. Okay, that's a lot of mood rings. You must be in a good mood. What color is it now? Did it change?
It's like a darker blue now.
More anxiety?
I think deeply relaxed. I think that's what I'm choosing.
If I put that on, will it tell me?
Yeah. Wait, hold on.
You have an extra.
No, give me a second.
Okay, I'm waiting. Oh,
That's fine.
that's okay. I do that all the time.
I brought you a mood ring.
Oh, yes.
There you go.
Thank you
But I
so
brought
much.
you a different kind of mood ring.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll fit also.
I like that you think I had such big hands.
I don't know. Like my ring, I think is like a size 7 or 8. Did I get it right?
Fits that finger. Might be stuck. That's the perfect fit. It turns
never coming
color
off now.
really quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You brought me a whole package here.
Yeah. There's the CD.
Let's show that.
Oh yeah.
How about that?
The Mariya Stokes Mood Ring CD. It's so exciting.
Love it.
Yeah, and then there's a little postcard to Christmas Arizona, my song that's, not a holiday song, but has Christmas in the title. It's a town called Christmas. We made little postcards for Christmas Arizona.
I love it.
They're super goofy.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm going to put this somewhere in the studio.
That would be awesome.
And people will be like, whoa, Mariya was here?
They'll be like, she went to Christmas Arizona? That's a ghost town.
Wow, that's dark.
Isn't it interesting?
That's
Same color, I think. See, now mine's lighter again, though. It also depends on the light. Yeah, it's like a nice blue right now.
Yeah, very deep. Maybe like a deep violet. Mine's probably anxiety. It usually is. I don't really need the ring to tell me that.
Right.
But I'm going to wear this.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, all the time.